Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about this coming week's transits and to do an angel reading for each one of you based on rising sign. Today is September 16th, 2023, and this is covering the period of September 17th through the 23rd, 2023. This video is based on whole sign Western astrology. So if you don't know your rising sign, you can go to any one of the free birth calculators on the internet. You just need your exact time of birth and location in order to determine that information. So I'm going to start off and with some of the aspects that I think are the most important, and then I'm going to go into readings for each sign. Personally, as an intuitive astrologer, I believe the rising sign is the most influential to look when you're looking at your readings. And the next is the moon. The moon is represents our emotional body, and humans manifest on their emotional body. And then the sun is our identity and what we project out into the world. So one of the things that I thought was very interesting as I was looking at the aspects is that the moon tomorrow is going to be conjunct the south node most of the day in Libra, going from 25 degrees until about 11 p.m. where it will move into Scorpio. With the moon conjunct Libra, south node in Libra all day, there will be, I believe, emotional habits that will maybe just pop up. You may be feeling reflective of your partnerships, of your self-worth, of is there enough peace and harmony in your life? This is a day where I believe the emotions feel not only reflective, but maybe in some ways a little bit blindsiding. There's a melancholy attached to this energy for some reason with me. And I think it's because the nodes are in a T-square with Pluto. And Pluto is pretty much the psychiatrist of the Zodiac. The deepest levels of emotional imprint are reflected in the sign of Scorpio. So I think that's very important. And I think it's something to be aware of, because at the very same time, we have Venus, which is ruling the south node, moving direct now in Leo, the sign of romance, conjunct the asteroid Juno, which represents marriage and partnership and commitment. So here we have Venus ruling love, ruling self-worth, Juno ruling marriage and commitment, traveling through the sign of Leo together. Venus is at 15 degrees, Juno is at 16 degrees, and they've been hanging out together. So we have this, the ruler of the south node really thinking about partnerships, about how do I commit in, this could even be where Venus represents your creative skills and talents, and Juno is representing a committed partnership to foster and nurture your talents. There's quite a broad definition to Venus when it comes to our everyday life. It's not just love, because many people are not in loving, intimate relationships. Now, so we have the moon bringing up our emotional habits, conjunct the south node. We have Venus and Juno having a conversation in Leo about, you know, my history in relationships, my self-worth in relationships, my viability in the creative world. And we have in Aries, we have Eris, the asteroid, and she is like the little sister to Mars. Pam Gregory often refers to her as a street fighter. I kind of think of her as a rogue superhero, something you'd see in the DC comics. She always stands up for what she believes in, and she is conjunct the north node in Aries. So this is very interesting because we have the moon and the south node hanging out, and we have Eris and the north node hanging out for at least the moon for the 17th, but the idea of Eris and the north node hanging out, that's been going on for quite some time, and it will continue. And we have the nodes At the same time, therefore, Eris and the moon, at least on the 17th, making a T-square to Pluto. Pluto is asking us to rebirth ourselves, to rise like the phoenix from our habitual habits of feeling maybe less than, or feeling that we must conform in some way. And this is giving us an opportunity with Eris's energy to really stand up for the self, and how the self contributes to the partnerships and to the collective. So I think this is a very, very powerful week. We also have Uranus retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde in Taurus, and they've been pretty much hanging out at 22 degrees Uranus, 15 degrees Jupiter. And this is really, again, expanding my beliefs, offering me a review, a reflection of how I want to move my story forward. What do I want in my future? Uranus rules our future, rules innovation, it rules the collective consciousness, it rules the collective worldwide web, it rules liberation. And in some ways, it rules an unexpected liberation. But I believe that if we're paying attention, there's been a tee up, because Jupiter in Taurus is revisiting again my talents, my history, what do I believe about the things I can create, my resources for myself. Jupiter represents expansion and wealth and business and commerce. And now we have Venus and Juno in the sign of self-creation, the sign of the actor, the sign of the creator, the sign of the conceptor, meaning I'm conceiving children. I don't know if conceptor is a word, it just kind of rolled out of my mouth. So I think this is a very powerful week as we have 5 planets retrograde and then 2 very powerful asteroids retrograde. So Jupiter's retrograde, Saturn's retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde. Chiron is retrograde in Aries, and Eris is retrograde in Aries. So I believe that all of this is this end of 2023, really reflecting on and incorporating some of the divine disruptions. Some of us call those challenges or obstacles or a multitude of other things. And how can we incorporate that to set forth a future that is more aligned to our happiness and our feeling a sense of productiveness in the world, and one we enjoy. We see on the 19th, Mercury is finally moved off the 8th degree. Mercury was sitting at 8 degrees retrograde, stationary, and then it moved direct. So the 8th degree is that scorpionic degree, again, playing to how am I going to transform my thoughts? And I want to offer this because being on the planet for such a long time and doing almost every ceremony I could to release my nasty past, I started to realize that that was not possible for at least me. I'm a fixed moon, and that fixed moon doesn't necessarily forget. But what Spirit then did was inspire me to incorporate those experiences, to reframe them as divine disruption, and to use them as intuitive tools to alert me when I might be walking into a situation that is not truly aligned to what I want to experience, or where I'm playing on an old emotional habit that my soul has perpetrated throughout its existence and I might not be aware of. Hence, going back to the moon conjunct the South Node in Libra, starting off this week. So I think this is super powerful, and I think this is we're going to see most of these planets start to go direct as we get into the fall. And by the end of the year, the only planet that hasn't gone direct is Pluto, and Pluto will be doing that in January. So all of this is sort of this sort of series of events to bring a certain illumination. And that illumination presents an opportunity for awareness. And that awareness sets up our choices. And our choices are ultimately what karma is. So, all right, let's go on to our readings. Now, poor Virgo, I decided to take most of the month off of to prepare for my mini renovation and to organize and to replenish myself, because I have needed it. So my Virgos have kind of gotten the short end of the stick in starting the readings first. So I want to apologize to you. But let's start with our Virgo rising. Our tarot card for the week is the Three of Wands. This is very much a card that's starting to indicate that the things that you're wanting to create are coming into fruition. We see these three ships out on this yellow sea, and the yellow sea is the strength. Your strength comes from your emotional body. We also see the character flanked in a brighter yellow around his head, and as we get into the sky, we see it turn a little bit orange, and yet each one of the wands has another layer of that lighter yellow, indicating that there is great strength in the connection to the divine, the Trinity, and that the trust you have in looking out to your future and knowing that in some respects, Virgo, this is not a time necessarily for you to take action, but for you to watch as spirit brings things towards you. And I believe that there will be physical evidence of that. And Mercury's turning direct could be where we see that. Sorry, I just hit the computer, where we see that starting to get some momentum. So let's see what the angels have to say. In addition, for my Virgo rising, moon, sun, and stelliums, our first angel is Isaiah, saying it's time to give birth to new ideas and new situations. Azure is in the opportunity obstacle, saying to have faith that there's more happening that you can't see, and that not to try to force a situation. Then we have Rosetta in the angel's advice, which is about I believe in this position, it's a childlike innocence in trusting the universe to provide that which you have put forth through your focus and through your words and through your thoughts. Because Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture, that a happy outcome follows your positive expectation. Isaiah is being joined by the novice. Azure is being joined by the horse. Rosetta is being joined by the high priestess. And Joy is joining Isabella. This is a very fabulous reading for you. Now, Virgo, I want to offer this. I don't know that this is a time, unless you feel an absolute inspiration, an excitement, an enthusiasm to move forward. I believe that the three is indicating that this, in some ways, is a moment to wait for spirit to inspire you or to get that feeling under your belt. The wands are always going to represent passion and fire and creativity on some level. So I think that's important, because Isaiah is saying that it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and that you're being protected by the angels. And the novice represents a time when there is skill, but it is unpracticed skill. It's unstable. This is again a new beginning being offered. Azure is saying that your desired outcome, the ships are coming into harbor. There's no need to force it. And the horse here is about delegating authority, and I believe that authority is to source. This is a moment when your inaction is actually an action of faith that draws in the law of attraction, because here we have that childlike energy, and the high priestess represents my connection to the angelic realm and my ability to trust that inner knowing, that heart chakra that is speaking to me, but my physical body cannot necessarily touch or smell or taste the evidence of it yet. Because Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right. There is new happiness coming. And here is the joy card. And I think that this joy card really represents stepping into an energy where you can use your Virgo talents of process organization, of analysis, and it brings you more joy. So this is a playing to your talents in some way, and something that you find favorable and exciting. So I want to offer it this way. The beginning of the video, I talked about this week, the moon and the south node in Libra are going to make a conjunction that on the 17th, in that specific time, is going to create emotional habits. And this will even be reflective for you, because Libra is your second house. So this is about your skills, about your ability to create the connections and the partnerships that you need or want. And then we have Aries in conjunction with the north node in Aries, really wanting to define the self, wanting to fight for what you believe in, what your creative talents are. So I think this is a real opportunity to be aware of that dynamic, and then to set your intentions and to watch your thoughts this week as you I want to offer this mantra for my Virgos. I allow good things to come to me. Good things come to me effortlessly, and I stand in happy and excited reception of them. All right, let's go on to our Libras. This would be Libra Rising, Libra Moon, Libra Sun, or stelliums. That would be 3 or more personal planets in the sign of Libra. All right, here we go. Our tarot card for Libra is the 6 of Pentacles. Now, interestingly enough, Libra is represented by the scales. And here we see the scales of justice over the gentleman in blue, who appears to be a have-not. Now, I think that this is an awareness. We are in a 7-year. 7 is the Libra number. It's also a number that in numerology represents intellectual analysis, a little bit less emotion and more like a judge weighing the pros and the cons. I think that this 6 of Pentacles for my Libras, now the South Node is in your house of your sun, or if it's your rising sign or your moon, this is really going to be a time where the egolessness of the South Node is asking you about the partnerships you've created, about the commitments you've made, and if you've put yourself into the mix. Because inadvertently, this could be a law of attraction. And if you're feeling like you're not getting your fair share, has the focus been more on another person than it has been on you? It's very interesting, the colors of the garbs that these gentlemen are wearing. Here, this benevolent character seems to be wearing the base chakra red color. Here we have this particular beggar, for lack of a better term, wearing the sacral color of orange, wants and desires, focused on the wants and desires. Here we see this particular character in a blue garb. This makes me feel like this character's conversation is not aligned to him being given the bounty by the benefactor. So we see that there is a divine law coming into alignment here. So this person, while he's still in the same condition as this person, he seems to be aligned to receiving bounty, and this person may not be, because he's still hoping instead of having faith. Let's see what the angels want to say for Libra Rising, Moon, Sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Akasha, the teacher. Then we have Xana, the angel of protection. We have Celeste, which is talking about a shift in thinking, also a potential shift in home and work. And then we have Chantal, the angel of romance. Now, this 6 of Pentacles, it doesn't necessarily define a monetary dynamic. This could be a have-not and a have situation in many genres of life. So, Libra, Akasha is being joined by the letting go card. Xana is being joined by the High Priestess. Celeste is being joined by the Wind Fairy. And Chantal is being joined by the Death card. I want to offer this because the South Node going through the sign of partnership can have a strong effect on not only your view and perception of partnerships, but also the physical nature of the partnerships. Pluto currently is squaring the late degree Libra energy, which could be bringing about either metaphoric deaths or physical endings of partnerships and relationships. And the South Node here is asking you if these relationships are actually serving your happiness, or if there is, in some ways, it's serving your sense of security and eroding your sense of happiness. Because this letting go card has nothing to do with letting anything go for me. It has to do with the song Let It Go from the movie Frozen, where it's telling me that my fears, once I get some distance from them, It's amazing how small they feel. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Here is Akasha, a teacher, teaching you that if when you let go of your fears, that there's more ahead for you. And I want to offer it this way, because here in the opportunity or the obstacle is Xana offering protection. And here's the High Priestess, which is calling forth your inner knowing. Your inner knowing is not necessarily protecting you from harm, but maybe in many ways making you aware of your personal conversation. Mercury has been retrograde the last 3 weeks, just started to move forward. By the end of this week, I believe the 19th, middle of the week, Mercury will finally have moved 1 degree forward, because Celeste and the Angel's Advice and the Wind Fairy are offering you a shift in the way you're thinking. And this is a little bit more of a deep dive. And I say that because circumstances may support your conversation, but does your conversation support where you want to go and what you want to experience on this earth plane? Because as you're aware of that, you have new choices, and you get to start to implement faith versus hope. Because Chantal is talking about love, and here's the transformation of love. And I want to offer it this way, because that death card is counterintuitive to what Chantal is saying. Chantal is saying that love is imminent and it's coming your way. And I think as I pull a clarification card, that the death is of your conversation. The death card is a 46, which reduces down to a 10, which reduces down to a 1, which represents your thoughts. Now we have the cow offering reception, abundance, asking and receiving. So I believe that this is an opportunity for my Libras to, rather than try to focus on an individual or try to fix a situation, the focus on how it feels when the situation is aligned, when the situation is in harmony, when the situation feels peaceful. That will help the universe bring those experiences into your physical world and anchor them into your energetic body and into your mind. That's the way I want to put it. All right, let's go on to our Scorpios, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our tarot card here this week for our Scorpios is the Two of Wands. This is similar to the Three of Wands, but yet it's even further in the gestation period. We see this wand here anchored into this cement castle wall. So we know there's a certain amount of creation that is steady and anchored, and he doesn't need to keep his eye on it. But now there are new inspirations coming, as represented by the world here. And we see this shorter wand sitting on this cinder block, but there's these flowers here. So there's new creations. There's something that is just beginning to be formulated. It could, well, let's see what genre we're in for our Scorpios. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Isaiah. The second is Xana. The third is Mystique. And the final is Isabella. Isaiah is being joined by the movement card. Xana is being joined by the burden card. Mystique is being joined by the forgiveness card. And Isabella is being joined by the bee. Okay, so as I look at this, I feel like I just keep seeing all the retrograde planets, and how sometimes when we have a retrograde planets, a lot of them, and we do every year, it feels like nothing is moving forward. Venus has been, for the most part, retrograde for 4 months. She just moved forward in the last couple of weeks, and Mercury just moved forward yesterday. I'm filming this on the 17th of September. Oh, 2 days ago. pardon me. So Mercury is just starting to get ramped up to move forward. And whether you think there's movement or not, there actually is, because it's coming in from the inspiration, from ideas and passions that are spawning something moving forward. Because Isaiah talks about giving life to new situations, to new things. And we see this woman is pregnant. So there's still a gestation period, and yet there's movement, but the movement may not be seen with the eyes. When a woman is pregnant, for the first part of her pregnancy, she can't feel the baby. The baby is just a little, kidney bean in her belly. And yet she knows that this baby is growing as she nurtures herself. So the reason I say that is because I believe that Scorpio, it's important to nurture yourself as you're moving forward on a place that's talking about your intuitive inner knowing is gestating something versus it actually being in the physical just yet. Because I believe what the burden is in some ways is the pace of how it's moving, is potentially the slowness of the pace, or what appears to be slow for you. The opportunity or the obstacle is feeling, am I being protected? Am I hanging myself out to dry? Will things work out for me? Mystique is saying to keep charging ahead and to expect miraculous solutions. This card for me is very much the song Coming Out of the Dark from Gloria Estefan. She had had a bus accident. It looked like she was going to be paralyzed for life, and she triumphed over that situation. Here we see the forgiveness card. For me, this is a card of reconciliation of this experience as an obstacle. Now I understand why it happened, because my reconciliation is my awareness of my being energy. What do I believe as I contemplate my future and its viability? Because in the final position is Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right. And here is the bee indicating good luck. But this good luck comes from your ability to stay centered in your vision versus looking outside into the material world for validation that it is moving forward. Again, these 5 planets, while they appear to be moving backwards in the sky, they're giving an opportunity for reflection, for refinement, for retooling an idea and making it more aligned and becoming aware of the psychological dynamics of our creation. Most humans don't realize it, but they start creations thinking, will that guy over there like it? And will that guy over there like it? And if these 2 people over there don't like it, we'll tank ourselves. So this is part of what I think this retrograde is giving us, the benefits of it. Jupiter, what are my beliefs? Am I willing to move in a new direction? Am I willing to connect at a higher level, not only emotionally with my guides and my angels, but in my business, in my willingness to put myself out there? Jupiter, marketing, branding, publishing, business, education, higher levels of education. Saturn, being willing to be diligent and recognize my history as a tool to empower me versus tanking me. Uranus, liberating me. Neptune, removing the fog of my disempowerment, and Pluto, having me rise like the phoenix. And you are ruled by Pluto. All right, on to our Sagittarius' rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Next Sunday, Lucky and I will be going to a hotel because the renovations start on the 25th. Yay. All right, Sagittarius. Oh, what a lovely tarot card. This is a card of self-satisfaction. This guy has really, when I look at him and I see his red beret, his hat, his cap, I feel like his mind and his base chakra are in alignment. He's somewhere aware of his primal nature, and he's infused his more civil nature through the mind. He's satisfied. He's put his ducks in a row, his cups in a row. They're glowing as he's nurturing them with his thoughts, as represented with this blue throat chakra color here in this curtain. Let's see where we're going with this Sagittarius rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Oop. Our first angel is Vanessa. The second is Celeste. The third is Shanti. And the final is Isabella. Wow, Isabella's coming out a lot today. Still trying to get my thumbs to work again. They've taken a little hit lately. All right, Vanessa is being joined by the Birth and the Rebirth card. Celeste is being joined by the Wasp. Shanti is being joined by the Communications card. And Isabella is being joined by the Bee again. This is an interesting dynamic because it almost makes me feel as if Sagittarius, there's something going on in your environment that could be creating disruption, but it may not be focused on you. And this self-satisfaction is you being aware of the nature of it. And maybe you're not drinking the Kool-Aid or you're stepping away from the fray. Vanessa is all about making decisions based on faith or fear. And here is a rebirth. Now, when I look at this, normally I think of Celeste as a way of thinking. Celeste talks about a new home or a new place of employment. And yet you put me anywhere, I think a certain way. So changing the situation doesn't necessarily change my approach. But here for my Sagittarius is, I actually think there could be either disruption in the neighborhood or there could be disruption, hence the Wasp, within your work environment. And I think what the angels are saying is that I don't know if you're the peacemaker, but it seems as if there's the Communications card, and here is Shanti, the angel of peace. So if you are personally involved in a conflict of some kind, or you're around people who are disgruntled or upset, I believe you will be an agent of peace. I believe that you will be sitting through the situation aware of your being energy and come out of it feeling very proud of yourself, regardless of the outcome of how it may play out for others. Because Isabella is saying a happy outcome is coming, and the Bee is saying that this is all about your being energy, and it's a good luck energy. And I think it is because you have allowed yourself the privilege of rebirthing yourself. Just want to give you an example of something. If we think about Sagittarius, Sagittarius rules the judicial system. And if in some circumstances, people within your work environment or within your neighbor have thought of you as a peacemaker or as an arbitrator or as some sort of bridge in conflict, this may be your opportunity to reinvent yourself in that situation and feel very satisfied about it, especially if there's been some sort of burden attached to your either being the mentor for them, the shaman to them, the enlightener to them. This just feels as if this little bee is going off and flying to another flower and saying, I want nothing to do with the nonsense. So good luck. I think you're going to do very well. Let me see why. That moon in the South Node may be bringing that up. I talked earlier about the South Node being emotional habits and partnership. And while Libra represents marriage, it also represents contractual partnerships, civil duty, being of service to, when I think of lawyers and I think of cops and I think of people who, keep the peace. So this may be, a role you play inadvertently. And now, you're starting to think, do I want to continue to play this role for others? Because there's not enough in it for me. So I'm going to sidestep it and I'm going to do it diplomatically and nobody's going to know the difference. All right. Let's go on to our Capricorns, my goats. Here we come, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. My late born goats, you have Pluto conjunct your sun. That's so much fun. I've had that. Reinventing yourself. All right, let's see what your tarot card is. This is the Hanged Man. Now, for my Capricorns, to me, this is a card that's very Neptunian. And the part of Neptune that is challenging is the part that is foggy and unclear and unsure and wants to run and hide and mask and escape a situation. That is not a Capricorn nature. So to me, I think what we're going to see for my Capricorns is that Pluto's re-entry into your house is putting you in some sort of alignment with your enlightenment. It is like you have, I cannot help but notice the colors. Here he's hanging by his base chakra. These tights are his base chakra, the red color. And this is a very loose thing holding his foot up. And this other foot does not appear to be tethered to this apparatus at all. So as he turns upside down, what he has thought was initially safe and holding him up becomes his enlightenment, his willingness to pause, his willingness to say, I'm a co-creator on this planet, rather than just pushing through the emotional pain. This tunic is the throat color, the throat chakra color. So we go from a reactionary energy to a more intentional energy into an enlightened energy, all through a pause. Your ruling planet, Capricorn, Saturn, is currently in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. It's currently hovering around 2 degrees. It'll go to 1 degree and ultimately 0 before it moves forward again. I believe that Saturn in the retrograde period offers us an opportunity to look at structures we've built. And in the Pisces energy, it's going to ask us if these are really sustainable or if there's an element of fantasy. And that fantasy can be, I know that guy over there that I'm trying to partner up with, and man, he never follows through with anything, or he ends up taking over. And I know his story, but I'm ignoring the story and the repetitive behaviors because I personally am afraid and I want a partner and I don't know who else will be there. That could be what's coming up for you. Again, the South Node is in Libra right now. It's taking us through a 1.5-year journey of examining our partnerships. It's asking us to look where we have created partnerships that are not truly sustainable, for us to be seen, to be ourselves, to be feeling thriving and blossoming within. So let's see where we're going with more detail. Capricorn, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Ooh, well, your first card just fell on the ground. Give me a minute. And it's the patience card. Isn't that interesting? Very much in alignment with the waiting of the hanged man. Okay, here we have Grace and Antoinette, which represents compassion. We have Archangel Michael asking you to have the courage to make the life change, to express compassion. And then we have Indriel, the light worker. Sometimes that compassion isn't for another person, it's for the self. As we walk through uncharted territories and we become more frustrated with our spiritual journey because one part of us knows what we should be doing, and I put that in quotes, and the other part of us is human, doing what we always do. All right, patience is being joined by the restriction card. Holy moly, my Capricorns. This week is going to be a slow it down week and really assess. Here we have Grace and Antoinette being joined by the focus card. Archangel Michael is being joined by Merlin, and Indriel is being joined by the trust card. Capricorn, this week is all about action. No action is actually action. I believe that the hanged man, the patience card, and the restriction card are all asking you to dig deep into your ability to trust the universe and what is your actual belief about your participation in co-creation. As I have experienced Pluto squaring my personal planets, my ascendant, my sun, and now Mars, my Mars in Libra, I have very much become more and more aware of some of my great ideas are just fear-based. They are making connections with dynamics that I'm afraid to step out on my own because I fear I don't know how to do this, or I am not palatable there, or blah, blah, blah. I'll lose subscribers if I take a month off. These are things I've become very aware of and now brave to walk through in my ability to take care of myself, or my knowing that my belief system is more important than my pushing a story forward. My energetic body is more the manifester than my physical body, because Grace and Antoinette are saying to Capricorn, have compassion for your focus, because you're coming into an enlightenment about your focus at deeper and deeper and deeper levels. So you may think, oh my God, I thought I knew this about myself. And now I see, oh my gosh, I've been operating on something even was unaware of, because Archangel Michael is asking you to have the courage to dig deep into those obligations and into the duty that you feel and into the pain, emotional pain you're willing to endure for an outcome. Is that outcome really serving your happiness? Because Merlin is offering you balance. Merlin is offering you justice and alchemy as you are courageous to look at your own focus and have compassion for it. Because in this way, you truly become a light worker, a person who walks through this planet and displays one energy, and then your trust transforms you. And your trust is not in your physical motion, not in your ability to work hard and pound the pavement. No, it's in your ability to be aware of your being energy. And my being energy says, oh, I don't know if I'm going to win today. I don't feel that great. So I'm going to give myself a break. And then I'm going to feel empowered and I'm going to feel more revitalized. And then I'll take my action moving forward. Again, we've got 5 planets retrograde. We just came off of 7 planets retrograde, if you include, well, Jupiter wasn't, but anyway, I'm getting into details, but Venus was retrograde in Leo, and now she's moving forward in Leo. Then we have Mercury's just starting to move forward in Virgo. So we really are just, if we can give ourselves a break about how we evaluate our worth to the outside world. And if we even put ourselves in the mix of that evaluation, do I like myself? Am I proud of myself? Am I willing to be patient with myself as I learn and become more and more aware of things that tether me to an old story that didn't serve me? And now the untethering of that is not going to happen just because I became aware of it. It's going to be an awareness that I come to again and again and again. As I slow the energy down, I eventually bring it back into a forward motion through my awareness. All right, Capricorn, that's that for this week. Let's go on to our Aquariuses, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your tarot card for the week is the 8 of Cups. This is primarily a spiritual journey. This is where we're walking away from a situation that appears to be good, it appears to be balanced, and yet there is something lacking. Something isn't quite right. And where many people might give up their power and stay in this situation, this character does not feel compelled to do that. And here we see the sun and the moon together. We just experienced a new moon in Virgo. So Aquarius, there could potentially be something that you are walking away from in the way of a work situation, or even in the way of a certain way of thinking, a certain way of treating your body. Let's look and see. This is Aquarius rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And I bring up the Virgo energy because it feels as if there's something here that is related to this new moon. When I looked at this card and I saw the new moon, you may have had an epiphany of some kind, or put an intention to experience a higher level of satisfaction versus maybe something that feels contentment, settling a bit. Let's see where we're going. All right, Aquarius, our first angel is Indriel, the light worker. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Caressa. And the final is Isaiah. Yes, something is coming to one ending and a new beginning is starting. Now, we know that Pluto is going to move into your first house in 2024. That means that beginning of 2024, that means that Capricorn is your 12th house, and Pluto is currently dismantling something that has to do with ancestral karma or ancestral habitual patterns of thought, behavior, and belief that your soul has come into this lifetime to liberate yourself from, which is why you're an Aquarius rising. So Indriel is being joined by the Grail Knight. Archangel Gabriel is being joined by Pluto birth and rebirth card. Caressa is being joined by the burden card. And Isaiah is being joined by the spider. This could very well be something to do with when I said earlier that this could have to do with walking away from some sort of work situation or Virgo energy because of the new moon that we just had a few days ago, seeing Indriel the light worker and seeing the Grail Knight, knowing that Saturn is currently in Pisces, this makes me feel as if there is an epiphany coming for my Aquarians, and there is a willingness to remove any illusions that you had that you could be happy in a balanced but not balanced situation. And now you're willing to bow down to a deeper truth, something that's from a deeper part of yourself. And you're bowing to that truth through Excalibur. And here we see a rebirth in your everyday life. We see an opportunity that may be coming. You may be experiencing an opportunity for a larger reach within your work environment, or branching out into something that is internet-based. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus rules the World Wide Web and collective consciousness. Archangel Gabriel talks about communications, and here we see Pluto's influence rebirthing something. And while one thing may appear to have come to an end, there is a new beginning offered, and yet there's an unsureness as this new chapter has not quite gotten enough traction yet. So you may feel a sense of unsureness, even a sense of insecurity, and yet this feels a bit fleeting as you're willing to connect to the rebirth you'd like versus where you have been. Because Isaiah is offering something new. But again, here we see a pregnant woman. The birth has not taken place. We're still gestating something. And then we see the spider. We are gestating potentially a new dynamic or a new relationship with the World Wide Web and your community there. It could be building more subscribers. It could be starting to put a focus on something that has an entrepreneurial spirit. Uranus is very entrepreneurial, as well as Aquarius. And your unique way of looking at things is it's so fun and attractive, especially to those who want to be able to express their own uniqueness. It's almost an invitation. So I think that while the Eight of Cups may look a little bit sad, the posture of the gentleman looks as if he has to walk up a hill a bit. We see this red tunic again, and then we have a green pants and red shoes. So I want to offer it this way, because he's walking away from some sort of security, and his legs are indicating the heart chakra, taking him on a path where he will find new security. So, and that feels like financial security. All right, I hope that helps for my Aquariuses. On to our Pisces rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Pisces, your tarot card is the cup of love, and the cup runneth over. There's also something that I don't think is often focused in on, but that's the dove of peace. And if we look at her, she is not flying in the sky. She is flying straight down into the cup. And in some respects, this cup feels like the Holy Grail, the cup that Jesus drank the wine out of. And here the peace comes from the focus on my cup runneth over, that everything I need will be provided for by Source, by God, by the angels, by my focus and my willingness to stay focused, to have a sense of serenity. Let's see if we can get some focus on where this is going. Layla is asking you to spend some time alone with God and the angels, talking about your intentions and desires. Isaiah is here again, indicating a new beginning. Astera is saying to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires. And we have Rosetta here representing working with children, giving birth to children, parenting children, teaching children. Layla is being joined by the transformational death card. Isaiah is being joined by the perception card. Astera is being joined by the wind fairy. And Rosetta is being joined by the burden card. Okay, for my Pisces, You have Saturn in your first house that could, and those of you that are early born Pisces rising will be, or early born sun or moon, you may be feeling a little bit of that repression and that depression and that history that Saturn can bring up. And I think that this is an opportunity to stretch yourself a little bit into a place of knowing that God is watching over you. If for some reason you have experienced the loss of something, Saturn has dried something up, Saturn has limited something, I think what the death card is asking you to do is to really evaluate whether or not it was bringing you happiness, or whether it was showing any signs of fulfilling your happiness. The ace is a 1. The death card is a 10, which reduces down to a 1. And I believe that this is a change in the way that you're thinking, and understanding that a complete giving away of yourself is not going to really keep any dynamic safe in your life. Your individuality, your willingness to stand tall for who and what you are. Aries is your second house. And right now we have some very powerful individual energy going through the house of Aries. We have Eris and the North Node conjunct. So I think this is a real standing up for yourself, sort of spiritual warrior energy. And I mean that in a way that is the peaceful warrior, not a kill you warrior, because Isaiah says it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations about your own perceptions. And sometimes the Pisces energy is so compassionate that you try to love someone through their issues. And sometimes that doesn't work. It actually pulls you under with them. We have that challenging dynamic where Pisces can rule escapism and it can rule addiction and sort of wanting to see things through rose-colored glasses when really the glasses are broken. So here, Spirit is really, kind of going back to this death card. We see the wind fairy is a 29, which reduces down to the master number 11. And Asteris says to reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and not to compromise. So this is really asking Pisces to implement Saturn's energy to be determined and to have endurance beyond any emotional discomfort, to align your thoughts to the truth of what you want to experience, to almost put yourself in a childlike energy. If you're in a dynamic and you had a son or a daughter that was experiencing the same challenges or the same dynamics that weren't feeling fulfilling, would you want them to continue to pursue that dynamic, or would you want them to step up and see their own value? Because here, I think that you're having, Pisces, a real hard time retaining that childlike innocence, retaining that feeling of God is watching over me. And sometimes what we don't realize is that disruption we're experiencing, what Saturn could be bringing into your first house, is a divine disruption. And as we age on the planet, we can look back and see where some of the things we thought we wanted, and at the time we may have mourned or really felt as if we were being robbed. And then hindsight lets us know that really wasn't aligned the way we might have perceived it at the beginning. So I think for my Pisces, this is actually good news. And as you begin to trust a bigger picture of things, if you're experiencing some sort of dissolution, some sort of limitation or restriction in your love bubble, in your feeling loved, this could be the quiet before a new dawn. That's what I want to say. All right, let's go on to our Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. A lot going on in the sign of Aries. A lot about the wound, Chiron, currently at 18 degrees. That's the Virgonian degree. What am I enslaved to that's pissed me off? We also have Eris and the North Node conjunct in Aries. So this is very powerful because it's all about standing up for yourself. But this is not about just being sort of an unconscious banshee. This is about being a pioneer, about being brave, about being willing to step forth into the life that you co-create and to realize how your energy is contributing to what you're experiencing. So, and here we go. Aries, this is the sign of the contract. This is Mars in Capricorn. This is the Three of Pentacles. We see this character could be a master of some kind, and he's being given his task. I don't really think of this guy as an apprentice because he's standing above them. So he seems to have a sense of knowing what he's doing. And these people feel as if they are hiring this person. And in astrology, tarot, that is what this is a contract. So let's see, Aries, maybe there's some new stuff going on. New work ahead, new opportunities to assert your expertise. Our first angel is Archangel Uriel. The second is Rochelle. The third is Indriel, the light worker. And the final is Bethany. Aries, Saturn is in your 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of our self-undoing. Well, it's also the house of ancestral karma. And Aries is known as the warrior. And oftentimes, because of that warrior energy, it's also associated with anger, frustration, being pissed off, being harsh, being abrasive. And what I believe is that when your ruling planet spent 7 months in Gemini, the house of our workmates, our teammates, our schoolmates, our children, our neighborhoods, our communities, Aries got a real eye-opening dynamic of how their energy lands on other people. And I believe that Mars has decided to be more aware so that he can engage people in his vision versus repelling them with his harshness. So this is where I think we're going with my Aries. And that's why I think we're seeing the Three of Pentacles, because you're starting to come into alignment and awareness of your energy. And rather than react, you're choosing. So here, again, we see this engagement. There's some sort of contract on the table. Now, when I look at the first position, I have Archangel Uriel working with anger and frustration. And here we have love. So I think, and if we could boil this down to hate versus love. And I think that my Aries is becoming aware of these sort of more polarizing energies within themselves. And now you have chosen to come from your heart from a more joyful place. And I think that my Aries is even becoming aware of some of the things they've done that could potentially, again, the North Node is going through your house, wanting to express itself in its deepest authenticity, while the South Node is in Libra, reminding us of our habitual habits in partnership. So here, I think that Aries' awareness of their heart is allowing them to feel more joy as they infuse love over their habitual maybe anger, fear, pushiness, frustration, because Indriel, the light worker, is in the angel's advice, and there's the communications card. That takes me right back to the Gemini energy. I'm learning to communicate in a way that makes me feel proud of myself. It represents my evolution, it represents my bravery, and it represents my intention to continue to move forward and create the life that I, as an Aries, want to live. Because there it is, Bethany, the card of self-care. And we go from anger and frustration to calm, cool, and then we have that dragon. That dragon is a powerful energy. It's very much a Jedi energy. It's very much an energy that knows its strength and when it wants to use it and when it doesn't. And even when the dragon is antagonized, the dragon chooses a calm demeanor. And if we look at a lot of the martial arts, the Asian martial arts, thinking of, we find that we are not asserting our energy. What we're doing is we're letting our opponent or our perpetrator assert their energy, and we are deflecting. So this is what I think is going on. I believe that you've become more of a master at your energy and your awareness of your energy. So bravo to you. All right, on to our Tauruses, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Are we watching my hair get bigger and bigger? Because it's growing with this humidity. You never know, I flat ironed it and I put all the potions and lotions on it. And of course, I share this with my Taurus friends because Venus rules Taurus and Taurus is my moon. All right, let's see our tarot card. Oh, well, isn't this fun? The Two of Pentacles. First thing you see is all about being light on your feet, being flexible. We see the water in the background going backward and forward and up and down. And on a mundane level, this could represent travel. But what I believe it's going to represent is Jupiter is currently retrograde in Taurus and not far from Uranus. And this could be bringing a back and forth feeling up and down of what do I want to do in the way of my Jupiter energy? What do I believe about educating myself at a higher level? What do I believe about implementing my skills to make money? What do I believe about my ability to use my talents, my voice out into the world? And am I willing to be flexible with what I know about myself and what I know I want to birth within myself and out into the material world? Because this is the infinity symbol that the two pentacles are in. Now, pentacles always represent the earth energy. And right now, I don't think this is representing money. I think it's representing this emotional journey. I'm going back and forth between who I have been and who I want to be. And I'm trying to find my equilibrium and incorporate the two. So let's see where we're going, Taurus. Our first angel is Ariel. New spiritual experiences are changing how you view the world. We have Archangel Gabriel. In the opportunity of the obstacle, we have Teresa in the angel's advice. And in the final position, we have Daniel, the angel of marriage and relationships. We have Ariel being joined by the butterfly. We have Archangel Gabriel being joined by the queen. We have Teresa being joined by the dog. Wow. And we have the swan joining Daniel. I would have to say that this very much would feel to me as if this is addressing Taurus's Venusian energy. And I want to offer it this way because when I look at Ariel talking about new psychic and spiritual experiences, I can't help but think about Taurus being a fixed sign. And I'm a Taurus moon. And while my emotional body doesn't necessarily change, I know that I've been blossoming and looking more and more for the beauty in life and being able to look at my imprint, the history. Taurus rules our family history and how it affected us, hence ruling our confidence and our self-worth. All this comes from Venus. So here I'm blossoming as I connect with spirit and I see a bit of the divinity of the disruption in my life and how it's created something beautiful. And yes, I go back and forth between loving it and not loving it. But here, Archangel Gabriel is really confirming this is an energy where, yes, Gabriel is our communications, but she also rules art. And I talked a little bit initially with Taurus about your skills, about your voice, about using your talents. And here's the queen. And I believe that this is about ownership of your talents and to trust that the crowd will love your talents. And here I have Daniel, the angel of marriage, in the final position. But Daniel is the angel of history in relationships. Now, the South Node is transiting Libra. Libra is also ruled by Venus. So you have an element of cooperation with that sign. And here, what I believe is that you are starting to see your own personal history transform and bring you into a swan-like energy. I don't think this is about love and intimacy. I think this is more about self-love and self-worth. And I think that's what Jupiter and Uranus going through your house, your first house, is giving you an opportunity to do. Rewrite your belief system, to incorporate some of your old beliefs with your new beliefs, and to rewrite how you express yourself out into the world more in a more unique way versus what you may feel has been expected of you in order to be a valued member of your tribe. So I think this is very powerful. And I think, Taurus, you'd be best served to be very light on your feet with your own perception of yourself as you walk through this transformation. Nothing is steady. Everything, one step forward, 2 steps back gives me a wider perception. I could go in this lane, I could go in that lane, I could go in this lane. The road can be maneuvered in many ways. So rather than thinking I just have to, push my way forward, allowing yourself a little bit of a meandering may even illuminate more of the beauty of the journey and how you're being supported by spirit as you go along. Okay, let's go on to our Geminis, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our tarot card is the Queen of Swords. This is a woman who is fair. She is aware. She is willing to look at her thoughts and to work on I want to offer it this way because this is a very Libra energy to me. And so in mastering her thoughts, she is aware of the ebb and the flow of our thoughts. She's not expecting herself to be able to erase the human imprint and just, be perfect. So let's see, Gemini, since you rule thought as well, where we're going with this. All right, our first angel for our Geminis is Vanessa, the angel of faith or fear. Then we have Seraphina offering a happy family. Bridget is looking deeper into a situation. And here we have Bethany, the angel of self-care. All right, Vanessa is being joined by the forgiveness card. So, Seraphina is being joined by the disruption card. Bridget is being joined by the truth card. And Bethany is being joined by the restriction card. This feels very much as if there's the potential that my Geminis had a little bit of a hard time during their Mercury retrograde. Maybe you were really sort of looking for a resolution of some kind, some sort of evidence out there in the world that things are starting to course correct, resolve themselves. Vanessa's about making decisions based on faith or fear. And then there's the forgiveness card. So here, this almost feels as if having faith is the way to go, but there may be a little bit of a challenge feeling like you're getting any traction with it, because I have Seraphina, which represents a happy change, and then I have the disruption card. And it almost makes me feel as if Gemini, maybe there's been partial evidence of things moving in the right direction or starting to course correct, and then they took a little back step. And now there's a deeper level of awareness from you of the way your mind is going back and forth between two dynamics, because Bridget is asking you to look deeper. And then we have the truth card. And I think this is your personal truth. I don't think this is a collective truth. And I think that truth may be inadvertently making you feel as if it's going to disrupt something. And, I kind of feel like for my Geminis, maybe it's important for you to allow for whatever that disruption is, because there's a sense of self-care that is being required right now. Bethany is all about self-care, and there's the restriction card. And I almost feel I just announced earlier this month that I was taking the month of September off. And I have never done that. And I haven't actually taken the whole month off, but I did from my live YouTubes, and I didn't produce many videos. Watched my subscribership go down, watched my views go down. Yes, I could panic about all those things, but there was a part of me that said, I have to have faith in myself because I need time to take care of myself and the things in my personal life. I think the same thing is going on for my Geminis, but you're so busy always running the neighborhood, getting things done, doing what you're supposed to do. This may be a moment where you're just going to have to let other people's every day take care of their stuff so that you can take care of you. And in taking care of you, you'll be better able to take care of others a little bit down the road. I think that's important. And I think it's fair and just. Okay, let's go on to our Cancers, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our tarot card is Cancer, this is a card of going your way. And that's not normally a Cancer energy. Cancer is very much a healer. Cancer is very much a nurturer, a mother, a provider in many ways, a provider of home and safety and comfort. And here, my lips. The swords always represent your thoughts. Now, when I was learning the tarot, they would tell me the swords represent strife and struggle. But strife and struggle doesn't come from anywhere, because people can experience the same thing and they have two ways of experiencing it, one with ease and the other without. So this is a card of individual thought. There are 5 swords in this guy's hands, while 2 are left behind. 5 is a number of independence. It's a number of a little bit of doing things your own way. It represents the 5th house of Leo, individual. So here, I think, Cancer, you might have to take some of your own thoughts and go your own way. Let's look and see what's happening. And some of that may even be because Pluto's been opposing your house of your first house for quite some time. I mean, this is what, 2008, and you may be going through a series of transformations that other people just aren't recognizing, So let's look and see. Our first angel is Sonia. The second is Ray, which is a connection to the divine. Bridget, looking deeper again. And then we have Daniel, the angel of marriage and history in partnership. We have Sonia being joined by the restriction card. We have Ray being joined by the owl. We have Bridget being joined by the love card. And we have Daniel being joined by the fear card. Okay, so Sonia and the restriction card together makes me feel as if maybe Cancer's a little stuck in their head, because again, swords are strife and struggle. This is a 7, which is a lone card. It's a guy going on his own. And my Cancers may feel alone right now. There's Sonia representing your team, and there's a restriction, which makes me almost feel as if, Cancer, maybe you don't necessarily feel a connection with the other side, or you don't necessarily feel supported. There's something about feeling a little bit disconnected, because when I look at Ray, she's very much connection to the divine, and here's the owl going back and forth, and it makes me feel like my crab is going, I'm being watched over. All this stuff that's happening is really okay. Oh no, it's not. Nobody's watching over me. Nobody loves me. Oh no. And I'm going back and forth, because Bridget is here saying, look deeper in the angel's advice, and there is love. And part of that love might be you having to do something individualistic, or having your own individual thoughts and being able to feel comfortable about them and expressing them, at least to yourself, in a way that you can own them without a feeling of insecurity. Because here, Daniel represents your history in relationships, and there's the fear card. And I could almost say, I don't know why I want to say it this way, my father's birthday would have been September 9th. We're in Virgo season. My stepmother is a Cancer sun. And when I looked at this, I almost felt as if she doesn't feel my father's connection, and she's not feeling a connection to loved ones on the other side. And it's creating a fear and a sense of being alone and not supported. And depending upon the circumstances in your life, there may be something similar to that going on with you, Cancer. And I think that this is really going to ask you to be even more diligent and more determined to connect with your team, and to look for the subtle signs, the subtle omens. There's not going to be a big burning bush. And in doing so, you could feel a sense of comfort instead of feeling so alone, because this very much feels as if there's some sort of feelings of being restricted, that my history is coming forth, and it might be biting me a little bit in the butt. As we age, we think we're supposed to get mature, but oftentimes we just age, and the circumstances of our childhood sit underneath the surface in a very close way. And sometimes we get triggered in things. So that might be going on as well. So I would ask my Cancers to connect very much with their moon energy and with their connection to the divine. And I also want to refer back to the beginning of the video when I talked about tomorrow is the 17th here in the Pacific time zone of September, and the South Node will be conjunct the moon. The moon is your ruler. The South Node is in Libra. So you could feel very much a sense of melancholy about your relationships. And if you've experienced any sort of loss or divorce or disconnection, it may be a bit of an emotional day. Self-care would be very much a remedy for that. Okay. And our final sign is our Leos. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. This 8 of Pentacles represents something that's already been created. Now our master is going in and fine-tuning the details of his creation. And we're still in process. Let's see where we're going. Venus and Juno are traveling together through your sign. Venus rules partnership and intimate love. Juno rules commitment and marriage. We have Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right. We have Daniel, the angel of marriage. We have Xana, the angel of protection. And we have Omega, the angel of victory. All right, Leo, Isabella is being joined by the Baird. Daniel's being joined by the mystery card. Xana's being joined by the partnership card. Oh my goodness. And we have Omega being joined by the love card. I think that this is a beautiful spread for you, Leo, because this is an opportunity for you to fine-tune the details of your love life. Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right, not only to put your history behind you, but to start to tell an enchanted story of love and to celebrate it through song and dance, because Daniel is the angel of marriage. And now it's time to choose to see the good in your relationships, the bright side, the beauty in the fabulously flawed humans that you interact with, because here is Xana protecting your partnership. And so as you look at the fine details, and this is not the other person, it's looking at you and the fine details you bring to the relationship, because you're about to experience beautiful love energy and a feeling of victory. And victory to me is not a destination. It's not, the end of the train. Okay. It is just the beginning of awareness, the beginning that when I start to tell the enchanted story of love, and I see the beauty in my partner versus any flaws they may have, they inadvertently start to see the beauty in me. And this is not about waiting with your, holding your breath. I'm going to feed them with a bunch of bullshit that, they're great, and then they're going to give that back to me. No, this is authentic. This is digging deep and with a sincerity, because this gentleman here is just started practicing the details of love. He's got a ways to go before he finishes his project. So I think this is very important for you. I think that you have a great opportunity with Venus in your first house and in alignment with Juno. So you can make a commitment, Venus, to your self-worth in relationships. So even if you're not in a relationship, Venus representing your self-worth, Juno representing a commitment in the sign of self, can then open up a whole new world for your partnerships, those that are existing and those that are pending, and even how you perceive those in the past. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being patient for me while I self-care. I want to produce videos out of joy, not obligation. And that's why I have been inadvertently not producing as much, because I'm waiting for my joyous inspirations. All right, everybody. This is me, Teri Hunter. I am available for personal readings. Never took a break from them. If you want an astrology chart done, if you want an angel reading, I am available. My information is below in the description. Please reach out, and I'll see you soon. Peace out, everybody.